Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to our webinar today about Salesforce development and how you can get one of the best paid jobs in 2020. So I'll go ahead and leave everybody's microphone on mute for right now, just so that we don't have as much background noise. But I would love it if you have any questions as we're going along, and feel free to ask a question, to raise your hand, and I can pass you the mic. So I see we have 3 people here today, and it's great to see you all. So my name is Vicki. I am head of training with Salesforce Supermums, and I am not a developer myself, and I will admit that right off the bat, but I am studying to be one, and I have been working with a wonderful team of volunteers to make content and to get this course up and running. So today we're going to talk through what is a developer, what does a developer's typical day look like, and also what does our course look like, and how can it help you to become a developer. So just to get us started, there's some stats that just always floor me around Salesforce development and that I'd like to start off by sharing with everybody. So recently, Salesforce development has been on the top of everybody's mind because it has been listed in Indeed's top 10 jobs for 2019, among many, many other lists. This is just one of the most prominent ones. So as part of the listing, Indeed did a survey on Salesforce developers and found that job postings grew 129% between 2015 and 2019, which is just an enormous amount. So there is a high need for talent right now. And regional earnings, so within EMEA, the UK, are around 112,000 or the equivalent of 90,000 upwards. So there are great earning potentials around this position, and the need outstrips talent availability. So what this means is that for every one role that is out there or that is filled by a Salesforce developer, there's 4 empty roles. And for a CTA, that number goes up even higher. So it's 10 to 1 for a CTA, which is a certified technical architect. So in a moment, we'll take a look at what those 2 roles are and what they entail. So how you can get started on your journey to become a CTA and to become one of those highly, highly sought after individuals in the Salesforce ecosystem. And also another problem with the Salesforce ecosystem right now and with tech in general is that the roles are still primarily dominated by men. So traditionally, men have had a higher percentage of roles in the tech world and in the tech industry. We're in the process of trying to change that. More and more women are getting into technology. There's WIC groups. And as a program, we're also trying to promote women in tech by getting women into these high-paying jobs where they are well sought after and where there is, to be perfectly honest, a shortage of females and a shortage of talent. So it's the perfect mix. So Salesforce developers, there's 80% males right now and only 20% female, and CTA goes down even lower. So a Salesforce technical architect only has 9% of women, while 91% are still male. So to move us on, I'm just going to hop into our Trailhead, which gives a lot of really good career information as well on a global level around Salesforce development. So as you can see here, 3.3 million jobs will be created in the Salesforce ecosystem by 2022, with 408,000 of those being in North America, a huge number in Western Europe as well, 247, that is including the UK, and then Asia Pacific is growing exponentially as well with 520. And number one tech skill it is the number one tech skill paying 200,000 a year with 300,000 new jobs this year alone. And it's experiencing 1.3 times faster job growth. So you can see here that there's a variety of Salesforce roles that are available And you can see the relative salary as well. So over here towards this side, we do have more of the consultancy. So the marketing, the sales, being a business analyst, a Salesforce administrator. And then when you get up into these higher salary levels, you see Salesforce Developer, which is what we're talking about now. And it is the first step on your path to becoming a Salesforce technical architect. So if you are interested in going down the path of being an architect, then you could be looking at this $150,000 salary and that very, very competitive atmosphere where it is absolutely a talent-driven market. So that means that you will have your choice of careers. There is a lot of flexibility built into the careers as well. Since Salesforce is in the cloud, you can really do it anywhere. So more and more companies are realizing that, and more companies are offering flexibility to some degree. So flexibility, it means different things to different people, but flexibility can, for one company and for one person, be completely remote working, which does exist and may be the right fit for you. Or it may mean going a few days into an office and having some flex days to either leave early and go pick up your kids, or have a couple flex days from home as well. So still having that office connection. And it really is a matter of deciding what is the right fit for you as an individual as well, and how you like to work. So you can see that there's some more information about the different careers. If you are thinking about going to a technical architect, this is where you can come for more information. But otherwise, today we're focusing in on this developer. So for our course, we do ask that anybody who is coming onto the course to be a developer does have the administrator certification or an equivalent experience. That being coming from the fact that as a developer, you're using code. So Salesforce is known for the clicks, not code. And you can absolutely go from coding directly into development, but you do need to have a knowledge of the basic architecture of the objects and their different characteristics as well, because as part of your object-oriented programming, you'll be pulling some of that information into your code. So you need to know what the basic administrator click without code functionality is before you can go beyond that and before you can be a developer. So here we have the developer career path, and we have some information about skilling up and whether you believe that any repetitive task could be automated with code, if you like to dig into juicy problems, if you like to build code to be able to go above and beyond what you can do as an administrator and help an organization to tailor Salesforce to their business needs even more, this is the right position for you. So in your general business skills, there are some soft skills that are very important when you're going into developer position. One of the major ones is around communication here. We have writing, organization, problem solving. Of course, they're all benefits as well. And these are some of the specialized skills. So this is what we're going to be focusing in on the program, is that we will be studying Salesforce, of course, how everything fits together, and asking that you have that prerequisite coming in. We'll also be going into Apex, to Visual Force, into Lightning and Lightning Aura and web components. So for anybody with a beginner's knowledge of what Salesforce development looks like, Lightning Aura components are a functionality that is still in use and still very much so a part of the exam, but they're starting to phase towards Lightning Web Components, which is why we'll be seeing both of them in our course, so that not only are we preparing you for the exam, but we're also preparing you for a developer role. There is some information around object-oriented programming. Java is definitely a plus, C language as well. JavaScript is a bonus as well. As a part of the PD1, you do not need to necessarily know all of these coding languages right off the bat. They may be something that you decide to go through a coding camp or one of the online virtual coding camps and learn some more about them. So for the PD1 exam, we focus on understanding the code and being able to interpret code and to write some basic code yourself. So you're really starting with those beginning building blocks and working your way up. So after the PD1 exam, there is a PD2 exam, and more of the actual code writing would be going into the PD2 exam, but we will be able to understand some more of this. The same goes for jQuery, AngularJS, Bootstrap. These are not necessary for the platform developer course, so please do not be scared off by them, but they are useful if you do have some background knowledge. That is just going to make it that much easier to pick up Salesforce development for you. There's SQL and SOQL, which is a Salesforce object query language. And those will be used in the course as well, and we'll be covering some of the SOQL and some web services as well. So I always love this part of the Salesforce Trailhead website where you're talking about the day in the life of. So what does the day in the life of a developer look like? It means that you have a lot more independence around your day. And you can be, many developers and many people who go into coding and the tech side of things, they're attracted by that more flexible day. So there's a lot of flexibility built in already with the developer position. You can see here that the example is waking up at 9 a.m., first coffee at 10 a.m., and then looking at the calendar for the day by 10:30. So it is working around your schedule and working around what works for you. So at this point, I would like to come back into our presentation and take a look at what the Supermums program can do to help you move along the developer path. If this looks like it might be an interesting career for you. So the Supermums recipe for developer success is a mix of training. So we have trainings built in throughout the entire program. And our method for approaching training is going through doing self-study, having a 2.5-hour live webinar led by one of our experienced Salesforce developer volunteers, and following that up with homework that you're doing in a dev org to concretely cement in that information that you've just absorbed. So we have had success with this model since 2016 with our admin course and are using the same model to develop further courses. We have built-in mentor support as well, so you'll have a one-on-one mentor match with a Supermums volunteer. They are all very experienced Salesforce developers with at least 2 years of experience, usually much more than that. And they provide a 1-hour mentor call per week throughout the course of the program. And they're also going into your dev org to check your homework and make sure that you've done everything correctly. So you have that accountability built in, you have your go-to person, and that built-in support that's really important whenever you're transitioning into a new career. Then we also have hands-on homework. So that's part of the training that we talked about, is getting your hands dirty. It's great to look at everything theoretically, but it's not until you've actually tried something for yourself that usually it sinks in. So for our kinesthetic learners, we have hands-on homework where you're getting your hands dirty in a dev org and getting to practice everything. Once you've completed the homework section of the course, then you move on to some real work experience. And this is one of my favorite parts of the program. This involves creating a registry or directory for a nonprofit using Visualforce and Apex. So you get to use some of those skills that you've learned. You have your mentor support going through. You have a project manager who's helping you to do the scoping and the consultancy side of the project. And with your pro bono hours, you're making a difference for a nonprofit as well. So not only are you getting something that you can add to your CV, that you can have as your customer success story and be talking about that in interviews, but you also have this amazing way of giving back to the community as well. We have peer study groups that we organize. So you have a group of your peers with each cohort going through and helping each other study for the exam, really focusing in on the exam questions, helping each other identify your strengths and weaknesses, going through and doing mock exams. We found that this has a great impact on exam pass success rates. And then we also offer recruitment support as part of our recruitment arm. So you have access to the recruitment support for as long as you'd like to. If you go out and find a first contract with them and that contract finishes, you can come back and find your second. Or if you're looking for a permanent position, if something happens, if you're no longer satisfied with your position, you can come back, and we are always happy to be there to support you, to give you guidance, and to make sure that you are engaging with companies that are involved with the flexible mission of Supermums. So you may be saying to yourself at this point that that's all fine and dandy, but what will we be actually covering in this course? So this is a sample of our PD1 or Platform Developer 1 course agenda. So we have Introduction to Apex. We go through and learn much more about Apex, go through Apex testing. There's classes, triggers. We go through Visualforce, different topics like the order of execution, and then some of those newer components as well, such as the Lightning Web and the Aura components. So as our course details, the length of the course is 12 weeks of learning that we spread over 4 months. So we recommend that you have around 16 hours of learning time available per week. This is all flexible, and the whole program is virtual. So everything is recorded. You can watch it on your own time if you can't make it to one of the live webinars. And we do try to build flexibility into the program as much as possible so that you can juggle your career, your family life, and whatever else life throws your way. And the 4 months is taking into account holidays, school holidays, especially in the UK, and building in some time for you to catch up on your homework as well before starting the work experience project. So the project, as we said, is creating a directory for a nonprofit organization using Visualforce and Apex. And the price for the course is $1,500 plus VAT, and that is for the entirety of the course. There are no hidden fees. The only additional cost will be the exam, and we're able to provide a half-price voucher, bringing that down from $200 US to $100, which the last time I did a conversion is about 78 pounds. So our next start date is October 4th. And we are currently accepting applications for the course. So this could be your next career step. I know that it's a very scary time whenever you're transitioning careers to make sure that this is the right choice for you. So if you do have any concerns or want an extra follow-up call or even just more information about the program, if you haven't done so, go ahead and download our information pack from our supermums.org training website. And you will also be put in touch with Abigail and Naomi, who are two of our past Supermums. So that while they are on the admin side, they're not able to talk about the developer side as much, but they can share their experience about being on the Supermums program, about being part of our support and having that network built around you to be able to support you on your transition into a Salesforce career. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to all of the people who are on the call today and just see if you have any questions. If there was anything in particular that you would like to ask about, I will be unmuting all of your microphones so you can grab the mic and speak whenever you'd like. So if there are no questions, can all of you on the call? Oh, yes. Hello. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dr. I'd like to know how much of programming knowledge do you need to know? Do you need to have a prior programming knowledge to be able to embark on this course?
We say that you do not need to necessarily have programming knowledge or coding knowledge. We do provide you with some onboarding information, and we would be asking you to familiarize yourself with just the general concepts of object-oriented coding before coming onto the course. And it does consist of some articles to read up on, and we can point you towards some of the free code camps that are available if you're interested in preparing yourself a little bit more before the course. But the minimum is just those few articles around object-oriented programming and the Salesforce admin knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hello, I have a question. I wanted to know, like, I just heard about you guys from this, but I wanted to take it back to do the admin part. Do you guys offer something like this for the Salesforce admin to get prepared to be in this? Because I have programming background. I've used SQL. I do Java, HTML, all I have that, but I don't have the admin part of it. So do you guys offer anything like that?
Yes, we do. We have 4 admin cohorts that we run per year. They are 6 months long, and they go over all of the admin functionality that you would need to know to be able to transfer over to the developer. So absolutely, from the same website, you can go and download a pack about the admin course.
Okay.
And then just reach out to either Abby or Naomi. You'll get their information when you download the pack. And you can feel free to book in a call. They can tell you about their experience as well. It's very much so the same structure where you are on a real life work experience project. So you get to go through the first part of the course. It's usually around half of the course, and skill up on all of the training that you need around the functionality. And then you have the chance to practice in a real life situation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. And equally, the life work experience. Do you need to be working for an NGO before you can sign on this program, or you be allocated one?
Great question. No, you do not have to be working for an NGO before this program. We go out and work with a consultancy partner. And
Okay.
that way they do all of the scoping. They find out the requirements that that NGO needs and work with them around that. And then the trainees for the developer course or for the admin course come in on the actual build once all of that scoping and all of those requirements have been gathered. And then you'd also be doing some end user training around how to use what you've just implemented for them. So
Yeah,
we take
great.
care of all of the matching.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Absolutely. And are there any other questions? I am more than happy to answer any that you may think of.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, Jitendra, I saw that your microphone was muted. It should be good to go now.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I just wanted to know that is it necessary to go the admin part first and then move to developer part? Can we directly start our developer learning?
In our course, we do ask that you have that admin background, and that is only because of the length of our course. So our course is 12 weeks long, and in order to be able to pass the PD1 exam and to become a developer, you need to have that knowledge of the point and click functionality and the general Salesforce architecture. So if you have the equivalent experience in Salesforce already, then we'd be able to work with you. But we do ask that you have some sort of, that you either have the admin exam or the admin a work experience in order to be able to have that understanding that you need.
Okay, so admin act as a base, like you have to like get thorough with admin part and then you can start preparing for developer.
Yes. So basically, the languages that Salesforce uses are slightly different, but they are object-oriented programming languages. So they draw on the objects that are already existing and already created within Salesforce. So you do have to
Okay.
have a very high knowledge of the objects themselves, of what those characteristics are, so that when you're pulling in characteristics or attributes from a certain object, then you know what that is referring to and what is built in that you're building on top of.
Okay, and for undergoing a Salesforce developer certification, is the admin certification prerequisite? Like you must be
No,
ha you okay.
no. So from the admin side, from the Salesforce side, it is not a prerequisite. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. However, if we go onto the Trailhead website here, and sorry, let me just minimize. the webinar to be able to get here. And if you go into these credentials, you have the certifications in here. And we can take a look at the developer certification. The Platform Developer I, there's the App Builder certification, which between the admin course and the Platform Developer course, you would be learning everything that you need to pass that one. So just to go back here, the Platform App Builder is around designing and building on top of the admin capabilities, but without getting into code yet. So the Platform Developer is the first one that starts to get into the coding side. And the platform app would be part of the CTA journey. So if you're looking at becoming a certified technical architect, then that would be something that you would be looking to pass. But between the two courses, you'd be well prepared for that one. And then here you actually have the exam guide here. And what's great about the exam guides on Salesforce is that they give you information about the exam, first of all, but they also break down the skills that you're going to need in order to pass the exam. So you can see here that you can use the fundamental programmatic capabilities of the Lightning platform. So you need to know what you can do as an administrator with the point and click functionality on the Lightning platform before you can use this to extend them. And if we go down here to the weighted sections, you can see that Salesforce Fundamentals is actually 10% of this. And all of this would be coming from the admin course, and also much of the data modeling and management. I'd say about half of this is going to be coming from the admin side as well. And then much around process automation. So describe the capabilities of the declarative process automation features. All of this about roll-up summaries, formula fields, the schema, all of this is coming from the admin course. And it's not necessarily things that we're going to be going over in our developer course. We're going to assume that you already know that. And if you go straight from a coding background into development, this is the part where people get stuck up on when they're trying to pass the exam, because you can learn the coding language relatively easy, but you need to make sure that you have those fundamentals. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Equally, do you provide test samples for the exams as well?
Sorry, what was your question again? I didn't quite hear.
Do you provide test samples for the exams?
Yes, so as part of our support, we have a peer group that we lead. So we do have somebody who is leading that group. We say that it's peer-led because you're doing a lot of the studying, and it's very tailored to your group or your cohort that's going through. So you work together as a group to identify your weaknesses, and then you go from week to week and help each other to prepare and to fill the gaps in your knowledge before taking the exam. And as part of that, we do have mock tests that we're going through with plenty of sample questions. And at the end of each week, we also have knowledge questions that we're including in the webinars. And those are all sample questions around that week of skills that you've learned.
Good. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. And for everybody here, what is your background as well? Are most people here coming from a coding background? Do you have any Salesforce knowledge so far as well?
I've taken a few Salesforce, like, a couple of trailheads. I've taken a couple of courses, watched a couple of videos. I've done a few things in a dev org, but I am a programmer by trade. So I develop online training and then the coding and web design behind that. So I have that background. I just don't have a strong Salesforce foundation. So.
Wonderful. So yes, Priya, it sounds like our admin course may be a great start for you, and then going down the developer route afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I'm think that's where I want to go. And plus I want the flexibility to, because right now I currently work from home. So I don't want, if I don't have to go into a building, that'll be great. So I've kind of risked that flexibility. So, but
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. I work from home myself and have done so for the past 9 years. I am a big champion of working from home and working remotely, and I completely understand. I work from France, and the Supermums is based in London. So that's where the virtual part of our program and the flexibility that the cloud offers really works nicely. And are you based in the United States as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Um,
great. So we are starting our admin course in the US as well for the first time in November. So we have
Oh,
webinars
wow.
that for the first time are being delivered in your time zone. So that course start date is the December 3rd.
Oh, wonderful. And then that's the 6 months still, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, it's
Oh,
the
wow.
exact same program that we've been running in the in EMEA, just moved over so
Mhm.
that we're offering the webinars in a time zone that works better for you.
Oh, wonderful. So, and that's all in that supermums.org/training. All that information's in there.
Yes, so you will see all of that
Okay.
in there. And if you don't see something, then just reach out to Abby or Naomi, or even you can email hello@supermums.com or supermums.org, sorry,
Okay.
hello@supermums.org, and we'd be happy to give you any extra information.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're
uh,
welcome.
my my background is in a business analysis, and I've done the certification in system admin, Salesforce administration certified. So
Hmm.
I have the certification in Salesforce, the fundamental certification. I've done the exam and I've passed the exams. Well, I'm looking more to, widen my scope in terms of knowledge in the ecosystem. So yeah, I'm just thinking probably is something I would like to do, or, give me more knowledge. In the future, I'm looking at the consultancy path, but I'm thinking it will be a bad idea to have some knowledge of coding, which I don't have at the moment. I have no knowledge of programming. I have no knowledge of programming at all. So I'm still thinking about it, whether it's the right thing for me to do, and how much do I need to learn to be up to speed, to be able to, do the exams as well.
Absolutely. And that's where I would say that a lot of people have come to our course because on Trailhead, there is a lot of great information, but it's all in modules and in projects. So sometimes it's harder to connect the dots. So that's where we give you a guided path with plenty of support to be able to connect all of the dots together. And there's so much out there. So it's really a matter of focusing in on the specific information that you need to be able to pass the exam and to get a beginner developer job and to get your foot in the door. So absolutely, we would love to have you on the course if you're interested.
Okay.
Oh, Jitendra, I saw that you just got system muted again. That happens sometimes when there's some connection issues. So if you wanted to speak as well, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, talking about my background, I've done my master's in international business, and right now I'm preparing for my admin certification. But I intend to, uh, I look myself as a Salesforce developer in future, so I'll start learning coding after my admin certification. That's why I'm interested in this course.
Absolutely. So do feel free to get in touch with us as soon as you've passed your admin certification. And that way we can provide you with some materials, put you in the right direction to start to brush up on your coding, on your object-oriented programming concepts, and then preparing you for the course if you're interested. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Great. So if there's no other questions, I will go ahead and end the webinar for today. But please do get in touch with us if you have anything else. Feel free to email the email address that I shared in the chat. It's hello@supermums.org. And we can provide you with any extra information that you need. And thank you so much for coming. It was nice to meet all of you, and I hope to hear from you all soon.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.